I'm just hitting record.
Let's do it.
Stop doing this to me,
We are live.
Duane the Man Spires.
Gracias.
Welcome to the Sales
Thanks, man.
Podcast, dude. How the heck are you?
Dude, I am phenomenal. We currently are in a season of like recreating, publishing new courses, getting ready for bigger events. We just jumped off of this massive event that we do each year called the E3 Success Summit. And it was the biggest one we've ever done. We had a whole theater inside of the Busch Gardens theme park, just filled with people. It was a lot of fun, a lot of lives changed, and a lot of money made. And one of the things that's really cool about our business model for the audience that's watching this right now is our mission is to change kids' lives. So we work with people across the entire globe now, but predominantly here in the United States, that own children's sports businesses that want to learn how to do summer camp and after school. So that's where we come in. We give them that system and a lot of coaching and personal development work and awesome courses. So to answer your question, we've been busy upgrading everything that we're doing, and we're in a good place. It's a lot of fun.
So what is E3? What does that stand for?
Yeah, so there's 3 E's. You've got elevate, which means we always want to be in the mindset to go to that next level. Then the next E is evolve. So one of the things that we teach is called evolved leadership. And the premise behind evolved leadership is we want to always be looking for opportunities to evolve or improve by at least 1% a day. And then the third is enroll, because we're teaching people how to enroll in our program and teaching them how to enroll people into their program. So it's a win-win across the board. E3.
So you're doing these summits in the winter, but people are doing the things in the summer. I mean, is it like a long ramp up for this, or are there other things that can be doing in the meantime?
There's 2 reasons. Number one, we used to actually do this a little bit more into the spring. And we discovered that the earlier in the year that we host an event like this, especially for teaching summer camp, it gives everybody a massive head start. Yeah. Compared to like their local mom and pop competitors that don't even start advertising until like April. So everybody that learns our system jumps right in, starts enrolling kids immediately. Right. So to get fast results and lower marketing costs. Yep. And then the other reason, which is kind of crazy, is when we were hosting this in February, back in the day, like we would traditionally do that in February, there would always be these freak snowstorms. And like all the northern members, and they would get like snowed in and they couldn't get on a plane. And then like last year there was a cold snap in Texas and all of our Texas members couldn't get on planes. So we said, let's get there a little bit before the traditional snowstorm. And not even kidding, Wes, bro, we host the event a week later, just as predicted. Snowstorm in Maine, snowstorm or a cold snap in Texas. Everything got shut down again. So we got lucky. And then, we're looking out the window here in Tampa and it's like 70 degrees out.
Shit, I'm sitting here with a heating pad because it's 47 degrees. People don't.
Bro, you have a heating
pad. California
gets
cold.
Because you're getting above the age of 25 and you're doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, times 2. then add some.
Exactly.
and I have to fight these young Marines and cops, get these Marines come in from Camp Pendleton, 25 years old, no neck. Yeah, I want to try me some jiu-jitsu. Oh, look at that old man. I can whoop him.
Let's get him.
Let's go, buddy.
Exactly. Rock.
I tell people, it's like, I can't go toe to toe, right? So I just let them attack. And I just kind of move their hands away. Don't let them get too far. 30 seconds in, they're winded. And it's like
the constrictor comes out.
The old bull's going to teach the young bull something.
Yeah, we'll say this though, man. Your ears look good for the
They do look good, huh? They grew a little bit early on. I wore a headset for a while, but I haven't worn one for, I don't know, a year and a half.
Yeah.
Because early on, I didn't understand this. I thought it was from pressure, right? And it can be when you're grinding on somebody, but typically the way you get it is getting caught in triangles and ripping your head out, right?
Yeah.
It bends the ear and breaks the cartilage. But I used to have little tiny baby ears, but they're a little thick right there, a little thick. But yeah, overall, there are guys much worse. So A, don't get caught in a triangle. B, when you do get caught in a triangle, have better defenses to get out of that triangle.
True. Yeah, I learned a lesson the hard way. One of my first jiu-jitsu tournaments ever. This guy just throws a triangle on so fast. And in my mind, I literally was like, man, he doesn't have that out. And I woke up and I had no clue where I was, right? And I'm looking around and I just see like it was in a high school gym and just bleachers full of people. And I'm looking around and I'm like, man, it feels like I just woke up. And the dude looks at me, he's like, yeah, because you just did. It's like, thanks, bro.
Dude, that happened to me. We were doing no-gi just in training. And this young guy, I know him and his family through church, right? And he was enlisting in the army and about to head off. And so it was no-gi. And this was a couple years ago. I don't know. So I might have been like an early purple belt or high blue. And he was pretty new, but athletic. And I underestimated him, right? And he hits a triangle. And back then, like I would just stack and pass. Yeah. He was a lot smaller. And I was like, oh, don't stack and pass this guy. Right. I mean, we're in training. He's small. So like I could have gotten out of it, but I go, don't stack him. Yeah, I'll just sit back out of it. And that delay, right? Going back and forth thinking, I was out. He was mortified. He like thought I'd be mad. I'm like, I'm not mad, dude. Like, you did it right.
I need to take a nap, man. It's been a long day.
Yeah. I'm like, however, I will not underestimate you again. So get ready to suffer.
Yeah, now it's game time. Let's go.
So fun. Well, man, so how'd you get into this? Like what, you and your wife, run this thing. I followed you for years. You came out to see me one time when I was doing the Frogman swim.
Yep.
Sit in your fancy car.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. We were watching a playoff game that night.
Then you karate kicked me in the face because I was like holding a cup of water, and you're like, "Not in the Lambo, boy." I keep learning lessons, man. It was just water, but anyway.
Well, all right. So how did we get in this? I'll give the 30-second kind of timeline.
Yep.
So I was in college my first year and came from a family that didn't have a lot of money. So even though I had a 75% scholarship that paid for everything, the little 25% that we had to pay, couldn't afford. And I felt really bad for my parents trying to like step up and help pay for college. And I'm like, man, I got to man up and figure this out. So I jumped into this newspaper. You know those newspapers, the paper, right? Like that physical thing that used to happen.
Vaguely, I just stand by. I'll Google it and I'll include like a link. I'll include a link in the show notes.
Yeah, some people might need to look that up. So there was this classifieds ad that said hiring black belts, and I'm like, dang, okay. So I apply for it, and next thing I know, I'm knocking on the door of somebody's like apartment, right? And it's just like out of a movie. They don't even answer the door. They're just like, come in. So I was like, okay, I'm like 18. So I walk in and there's a desk in the middle of this living room and there's no furniture. It's like their office that they got in the bad part of town for like $200 a month. I mean, it was really sketchy. So they hire me on the spot. And the weirdest part about it was when the guy that was behind the desk, he's like, so
were you
your moves?
So you were a black belt in what?
Kuksul Wan, which is like, it's kind of like Taekwondo mixed with some joint locks. Basically,
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's a traditional Korean martial art. Some people think it's a restaurant, but that's what I had. So next thing I know, they're sending me out to these rec centers, like an hour away from where I live. And I walk in, and there's 100 kids all in white gis, like ready to do karate. They always called it karate. So I was like, all right, everybody line up. I started teaching karate classes, and I was making $1 per kid per class. So immediately I'm going, wait, this is crazy. Like I can actually make money doing something that I love. So there was a light bulb that went off in that moment. And then within like 2 to 3 weeks, I started seeing how that company was dropping the ball quite a bit. They were not good with customer service. People would order sparring gear and like wouldn't get it on time. And then I started thinking, man, well, if I'm going like an hour away from my house to these rec centers, what about the rec centers that are like literally 5 minutes from where I live that don't have a karate program? I wonder if I could start one there. I mean, I'm already doing it, right? So very quickly, I started knocking on the door of rec centers, and they're like, yeah, come on in, karate man, let's do this. So I did that, started building up
Did you have to
programs.
split it with the rec center, or were they just happy to get people in the building?
They wanted 30% of gross, but it's rent free. You just roll in. And so from a bootstrapping perspective of building a passion-based business, it was like, I don't have any money to invest, but I have my services, so let me show up. And they already had a customer base. They had all these kids in this after school program.
Oh, so they would promote it for you?
Yeah, I went in and did a free class, passed out some janky bro, if you saw my flyers that I made back in the day, it was like, it looked like I bought them from a pawn shop. They were so bad. I mean, but they worked though.
Hey, it worked, right?
Actually, what's really funny? I would read The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I would get just a blank piece of paper and a Sharpie and a pen. And I would just draw stuff and like write, like, you should sign up for karate, and put a smiley face, like a guy kicking, and just really funny things that actually worked. And then I started knocking on the door of like daycares, all these daycares across the place. And literally the first lady that opens the door at the first daycare, she's like, come on in, let me sign up my kid. And she starts asking me questions like, what do you charge for a registration fee? I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
I go, what do you think's fair? She's like, I don't know, probably like the same that you charge for a class or something. And I was like, cool, yeah, $4, $4 to register, because I was charging $4 a class.
Oh my gosh.
Just like the company that was charging that hired me originally, and I would keep $1 of it, but now I get to keep all $4 of it. So
dude, so when I started the Sales Whisperer, right, late 2006, I joined my Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And I was teaching 2 classes, and I would just alternate every 3 weeks. One was on for sales managers, and one was for selling.
Nice.
And I was cold calling just members of the chamber, because I became a member, so I got a list of everybody. And I was going to do it for free.
Yeah.
Right. And then just pitch them at the end. And everybody was like, well, how much is it? And like, they just kept asking. So I was like, this was like 2006, 2007, right? So we still had stupid money before the 2008 crash.
Right. Exactly.
So I just made up numbers, $17, $19, $23. I get 20.
Like, looking back, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a website. I didn't have a merchant account. Yep. People would bring cash and checks to the thing. And because my thinking was, yeah, I get 20 people, $20, it's $400 times twice a month, it's $800. I'm not going to get rich, but it paid for my marketing. It paid for I gave out flyers and little manuals, and it paid for breakfast. My wife would go to Sam's Club and get muffins and fruit trays and coffee. And so we gave them some treats. So it covered my costs. Right. And I was like, but yeah, everybody kept asking. So like, okay, yeah, I'll charge. And I just kept raising the price until I hit a barrier. But I mean, it was much higher than free.
Right, exactly. That's how it goes.
Oh,
and before I knew it, I was probably teaching about 500 to 600 kids a week. And I was around the age of 19. And at the time I had a girlfriend who was a cheerleader, and this is before my wife. So I was thinking to myself, well, if this program works for karate, wouldn't it also work for cheerleading? I mean, it's like the same thing. You're in a room with kids and you do, moves and you teach them stuff, right? So the next thing I know, the business doubled because we added cheerleading. And then her and I broke up. So I was like, crap, now I got to like hire a cheerleader, because, she can't work for the company anymore if you're broken up. That doesn't work. So we hired a cheerleader. She crushed it. And then I had this other girlfriend at the time after her that was a dance teacher. So then we started dance, and that worked. So then we got 3 programs. And then I met this dude who teaches tennis, and I didn't date him, but we started a tennis program and it worked. So next thing I know, we're at like 2,000 students. I'm in my early 20s doing 7 figures a year. And then it starts creeping up, and eventually I meet my wife, and then the business really blows up. She also had a dance background. And I'll never forget the day, bro. All of a sudden we start hearing this talk about this recession, and I'm young and I've never lived in a recession that I was aware of. So I'm like, oh, cool, recession, whatever. And then about a year goes by. Obviously, people are talking about losing their jobs and everything's crashing and all this. So
Which
like,
recession is this?
this is like '08 moving into
Oh,
'09.
okay.
Yeah. So right around the beginning of 2009 is when we felt it. So all of the classes that we were providing at the time were super low priced. I mean, we, instead of doing $4 a class, we ended up going to like 40 to 60 bucks a month for 4 classes. And all of a sudden, like 50 kids quit in a month. And then the next month it was like 60 or 70. And then the month after that, it was close to 100. And then it just kept climbing. And I got to the point, Wes, where actually this is back in the day when Keep, the software Keep, was called Infusionsoft.
Yep.
And I literally created an automated campaign on Infusionsoft at the time so that they could automatically cancel their membership, because I just didn't even want to answer the phone anymore. Like everybody was calling to cancel. So once we weathered that storm and it kind of like slowed down a little bit, we were down to about 400 to 500 students, and bills were late. We had kept our team on. Like, we didn't fire anybody. We didn't lay off anybody. I was like, we're going to figure this out, real headstrong about it. And next thing you know, car payments are late, you know, and being from a family that didn't have a lot of money, nobody taught me how to budget. Nobody taught me how to basically not blow all my money on stupid cars and random stuff. So we were like cash poor real quick after that. And legit, man, we're living on the beach at the time. This was like right at 2010. Gets dark. I'm in a weird mood. I'm like, we got to find an answer, because this business model is just straight up not working. So I'm out by the beach, just by myself. It's dark out. I can hear the waves crashing. I walk out about knee deep and I say a prayer. I'm like, God, what's this next answer? Like, give me a sign. Like, what do I do next? And Wes, like, boom, like I literally just see the word summer camp. I don't know what that means at the time. I'm like, summer camp? Okay, that's bizarre. God, is that really you? Is that really the answer? Summer camp? So I walk back upstairs to the condo and I said, Lauren, what are your thoughts about a summer camp? And she's like, what do you mean? I go, what if we offer summer camp? She's like, okay, sure. So I get back onto Infusionsoft at the time. I blast out an email and I say, hey guys, we've got this awesome summer camp coming up. We're going to be open 10 weeks long. Let me know if you're interested. And within 2 days, we had 50 kids that signed up for summer camp. And what I realized in that moment was, even despite the recession, parents still had a need for summer camp. They still had a budget for summer camp because they had to send their kids somewhere if they still had a job. So the next thing I know, man, we're starting a summer camp, but we have no idea what we're doing. I mean, dude, there are kids sitting on the floor playing with Legos. There's kids sitting on the floor eating a bologna sandwich. We're just there to make sure the kids stay alive. It was like the worst and best summer camp ever. We had no clue how to operate it, but we were just building it out day by day. So within about a week, all these parents come up and they're like, this is the best summer camp we've ever had. Like, the kids love it. What are you guys going to do after the summer? Are you going to offer after school care? And I was like, I don't know. And then after about the 12th parent in a day that asked us about after school, I said, yeah, we're going to offer after school. And then I was like, dang, we need a van. So I'm driving down the road and I look over and there's this church with this old rusty white van. I mean, literally the ones that you shouldn't approach, that type of van. They're going to take you. They're like, hey, we got some Skittles. And then you never see your dad or mom again. So next thing I know, I'm knocking on the door of this church office and I'm like, hey, I see the van for sale. It's $3,500. Can I test drive it? And this old lady, she's like, all right, good luck. Yeah, we can test drive it real quick. So I'm driving this like diesel Ford E350 and it works. I don't know anything about vans. And in my mind, I'm like, I'll give it a paint job and some new hubcaps and we're good to go. So I buy this van, and literally as we're signing the title over, the lady's like, good luck. We're like, dang, okay. So next thing you know, dude, we're doing after school. We sell out that program. We open a second location, build that up to 100+ kids. We're back.
What's the van for? Just promotion?
To pick up kids from school.
Oh, no crap, huh?
Yeah. So that van turned into multiple vans and multiple school buses that we owned. And we bounced right back up to the 7-figure level with those 2 locations. And then it hit me, you know, I've always been interested in like the coaching and consulting model. And I went to this event and I saw this young woman talk about summer camp. And next thing I know, she's teaching all these things that don't work. And I'm going, man, this is nuts. Like, I can't believe, like, everything she's teaching from stage, I've proven doesn't work. Like, this is the stuff we do to beat our competition. And she's teaching those things that we know don't work. So I get on the phone with my wife again and I'm like, Lauren, we have to launch a course immediately, because number one, I just saw her close the whole room and she made like $500,000 from stage in like 2 hours. And I go, secondly, everything she teaches is wrong. I go, we will literally just clean house with this. So we got to the drawing board, created a course, launched a consulting company. And dude, we have like 500 programs across the country right now. We're in Canada, Germany, Romania. We got, what else? Where else are we? I'm looking at Super Chris. I think that's it. UK. Oh yeah, we're in the UK. Yeah. We got some UK members. So that's how we got into this, man. It's crazy. Like summer camp and after school coaching and consulting. So we work with karate, dance, cheerleading, martial arts places, childcare facilities, churches, all the above that can have kids in a camp or an after school program. We show them how to crush it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Say yes and figure out how, huh?
Dude, build that parachute after you jump out of the airplane, you know? Like that's literally, I was telling this, I was driving down the road the other day and a buddy of mine's like, man, you know, I need to learn how to take more risks. And I said, listen, I go, that attitude has caused all of my most horrible failures in life. And it's caused all of my greatest successes. So it's like, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still alive.
Cool. So like what's working now, right? You've got some momentum. You've got a track record.
What's working now?
Like, how'd you weather COVID and like, are you doing things differently to handle the peaks and the valleys?
Big time. So this is crazy what I'm about to share with you. I did a speaking engagement in LA right at the end of 2019. And I remember seeing a lot of, I was at the airport and I remember seeing a lot of international flights, like people coming in off of those flights and they all had masks on. And I was like, this is weird. I'd never seen that many masks, you know, just in general. And that week while I was we went to, I think we spoke in like Oakland. I remember it being kind of like a rough, like audience, young people. And I got super sick that week, like the weirdest sickness that I had ever had, just bizarre. And I look back and I think it was COVID back in the day when I got it. But then next thing I know, you know, you start hearing the media and everybody's talking about this new virus and all this stuff's going out. And I think it was like right the first week of March, or no, the first week of February, I film a video addressing this to all of our members because they all have youth-based after school and summer camp programs and everything's starting to get shut down. So Lauren and I are like, what do we do? And, you know, we're believers, dude. So we say a prayer. We're like, listen, show us a sign, give us something. What's the game plan? We surrender. Here we are. You lead us in the right direction. And it was basically like, the message we got was let everybody go for free. Free? Let everybody go for free? So we film a video and we tell everyone, listen, pay us what you can afford to pay us. Like if you can afford $1, no one's quitting. We're all in this together. We're going to weather this storm. I don't care if it takes a year, 2 years, whatever. Just let's go. If you can't pay anything, let us know. But either way, no one quits. We're in this together. I looked at my team. In fact, you want to show like the conference room real quick? So just we're sitting down at the table, right? That I'm literally at right now. And our whole team is around the table. And I looked at everybody and I said, guys, go home. I don't know what to expect, but here's what I can promise you. All of you are getting paid no matter what. You do not have to worry about anything. When we need you, we're going to need you. Some of us may work from home. I don't know what this is going to look like. So we just literally told everybody, all of our members, like, pay us what you can. We dropped like over $100,000 in revenue per month this fast. And then something magical happened. We were able to create a virtual learning program. we created an e-learning program where all of the sudden, all of our members could stay open because they were deemed an essential business. So not only were they able to open back up, now they're charging full day rates. They're making more money. Wes, bro, they made more money in those months than they had made ever in the history of their business. They were literally breaking records. So all of a sudden, word starts spreading around our industries that we work in that like our system is actually helping people. We doubled the size of our company right after that. Just like that.
Dude,
like
that's awesome.
That's how we pivoted, bro. Like just like we were literally like, we'll go down with this ship. We will sink. We will be the last ones to jump off. And it was funny too, because we saw a lot of people in the industry like coming up with all these weird products to sell and all these gimmicks. And we're like, nope, we're doubling down on what we do.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, man. So we've been
now what?
Since. So now what? Scaling. Yeah. Our next big move is, now that we're launching all these new courses, we are really diving in with 2 feet on scaling and doing a lot more paid traffic. Everything's been kind of organic at this point. So that's going to be massive. And then we're just ready for the next level, man. I mean, it's exciting.
Very cool. So who's a good customer for you? I mean, gyms, fitness owners, martial arts, after school, all the above?
Yeah, all the above. This is one of those incredible daytime revenue sources. So anybody that has a studio, gym, school, anything like that, even like churches, for example, or synagogues, like they have a massive congregation. They have extra classrooms. They have outdoor space. They have basketball courts. They have all these other things, right? And all they have to do is just promote it straight to the people that already love them. So we work with a ton of various industries, and anyone that's looking to grow revenue and change kids' lives, it's where it's at, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you do any like private coaching or just entrepreneur in general, or do you focus just on those types of entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I still do a lot of speaking outside of the industries, and entrepreneurship, leadership, personal transformation. We do a lot with marriages as well. So that's one thing that Lauren and I are super passionate about. We're actually bringing a couple programs out to the market this year involving marriage success through developing yourself and taking yourself to the next level first. So we're really pumped about that. But yeah, we do a lot outside of the industry, because at the end of the day, man, it's like, as long as we're helping people level up, that's what we're here to do. And whether that's through business or through their actual life itself, like we believe that you have just one life, business is just part of it. So we want to see everybody win at all times. And one of the fascinating things, dude, is, at our live events, we do a lot of personal transformation on day one. And when we see people improve their health and fitness, when we see people improve their, nutritional plans, their marriages, their relationships, when all their personal stuff evolves, the business catches up, because now they can take on more, right? But a lot of these traditional events, you learn marketing and sales for 3 days, and then you take all this amazing content and you pile it on to this overwhelmed life that you already have, and your marriage is falling apart and the kids don't even like you and you never see them. And then you don't get anything done. So you get like that kind of yo-yo effect, but we want to see people crush it in all areas. That's our like internal drive, if you will.
Yeah, I've been building out the 12 weeks to peak. And, the concept is kind of what you're talking about. I see programs out there that are more physically based, and they're hard and people thump their chest when they're done, but then they don't continue.
Yeah,
because it's too hard. Like, you can hold your nose for a couple of months and plow through something, but is that sustainable? But the same thing, if you're not addressing everything else, then it's like you got 4 flat tires, and so okay, you got 1 tire with a good air, maybe even 2 tires with good air. You're still not going anywhere.
Exactly.
You just
like,
have 1 good tire.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't mistake a little bit of movement for actual progress. And that's where you see people who are like addicted to reading the next book or addicted
Yeah.
to the next seminar, and they never implement anything. Well, it's because their personal life sucks. Like, there's so much that needs to be addressed and breakthroughs that need to be had on that end before they can have the bandwidth to go to the next level financially with business.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I talk to people about, like little things. I always say, small hinges swing big doors.
Big time. Yeah.
It's like, get more sleep. Well, to get more sleep, drink less alcohol.
Oh, for sure, dude. We stopped.
Right.
We became, and here's another thing too. While you just brought that topic up, we haven't had a drink in over 2 years,
Nice.
and we weren't struggling with alcohol. Like, we weren't alcoholics in any shape or form. But I got to the point where I had to start questioning everything in my life, and I go, how does that drink help me in any way?
Yeah.
It costs money. It creates inflammation. You feel like shit. Excuse my language, and you just feel like it just slows your momentum. So it got to that point where I went from saying, oh yeah, I don't drink, to literally creating an identity where I said, I am a non-drinker, and there's power in that statement. So yeah, dude, I'm 100% with you on that.
Yeah. So, but I back everything up, right? It's like, okay, don't drink. Well, if you don't drink, you'll probably eat a little better.
Exactly.
Because when you're drinking, oh hell, I'll have these chips, I'll have this cookie, whatever.
I'll have this whole box of Krispy Kremes. No big.
So now you eat a little bit better.
Right.
So you eat a little better. You don't have the booze. You have a little better sleep. You have a little better sleep. Maybe you need less sleep, or the sleep you do get is better. So you wake up. You can wake up a little earlier, a little more energetic. Now maybe you can get that workout in.
Bingo.
Maybe you show up to work a little bit earlier and a little more clear-eyed and bushy-tailed. And so you're a little more productive, so 30 minutes a day of more productivity. It's 2.5 hours in a week.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
many weeks in a row.
Yeah. In the course of a month, like, you're getting an extra, couple of days of work in compared to everybody else. So, you just start, all right, now you start working out a little bit more. Well, now you can't complain that you can't afford it, because you're probably wasting $100 a month on booze and junk food. Now you can afford the gym, right? It all just
say that's probably like $300 to $400 a month for most people.
Yeah. And I'm taking the low end, just at home, right? You're just picking up you buy a case of Bud Light from Sam's Club and just sip on, 1 or 2 a night, and a can of Pringles, so on the low end. Right. But yeah, you go out, people go, it's freaking unbelievable how much it is to eat out and to drink out.
Yep.
Like, holy crap, man, people making some money.
Seriously.
So it's like, but if you just start peeling all that back, right? Okay, now you got 30 minutes. Like, I have people in the program, just read 11 pages of a business book, and read 11 pages of fiction. I want you reading novels, because I've learned in my studies that readers of fiction, and a little known fact too, if watching movies or longer, so there's a benefit to binging some good shows. It's kind of related to reading novels, is that you become more empathetic, they've discovered, because you're getting into the minds of the characters, and you're bouncing back and forth, which helps you. The studies have shown that, like, you can read people better.
Yeah.
Right. And you can react to them, connect with them easier. So, right, just little things, 11 pages, right? Okay, it's not a book a week. That may take you 2 months to read a book. But like you said, it's not that you don't drink. It's, you're a non-drinker. So, right. So it's like, you're not this power person, whatever, but you focus, you are a personal development achiever, right? So
exactly.
I want the whole picture.
Well, the other thing that we discover too is that you start to change your environment, and now, like you said, you're going to the gym more, right? So now you're meeting more people that are fitness focused, or now you're getting involved in the local chamber of commerce, or you're joining masterminds, and now you're meeting other people that are a few levels ahead of you, but everybody has the same focus. So your circle of friends, your top 5, start to change. And I actually gave a presentation a couple weeks back, and I want to share one of the points that I made. So we always hear people in this space talk about, hey, who's in your top 5, right? They'll say, we can, look at your top 5 and determine who you are. Well, I like to say that it goes a little bit further out than a top 5, because your top 5, like Wes, you got a bunch of kids, like your top 5 might just be your family, like the people that are in your immediate family that you see the most often. So we have like a family top 5, a friend's top 5, a career business top 5, a hobbies top 5. We've got all these people. And the point that I made is we have to be very mindful of who we allow in those close circles. And I gave 3 examples. And for everybody that's watching this right now, if you want to take notes, this is a really cool thing that you can either do now with us or circle back and do this exercise. But I said, I want you to first off write down everybody that are in those circles. So, there's like 20 people, let's say, that are in those circles in your life. Out of those people, when you win, when you win and you accomplish something, who else also wins because you win? Those are good people to have in your circle. Then we have to say, okay, well, what about this example? Who in your circle, if you win, they feel like they've lost something or somehow their life isn't as good? So this is where we have people like in our close circles that carry a little bit of resentment or passive aggressiveness or might not be a true supporter. We have to identify those people because they might not deserve or they might not cut it at your new next level. And then the third example, and this one is where it gets really interesting. If you lose in some way in your life, Wes, who in those circles wins because of your loss? Those people got to go. And if we look at it through those 3 frames, it's like, okay, now we definitively know who we should keep close and who we should start to really be real with ourselves and say, are we outgrowing those people, or are those people serving us at this next level? And when you can be real with yourself and you can be truthful and just honest, like that's where a lot of progress actually starts to happen. So all of our members, they start identifying who's in their life, who's important, and then most importantly, who needs to go, who's holding them back. Like the blue crab analogy, the bucket, they pull each other down.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. I mean, we get into ruts, but like we get comfortable in those ruts.
Then you get people that are also in ruts that love the fact that you're in a rut, because now it's misery.
Yeah.
What's the phrase? Misery loves company.
Yeah. And I always tell these stories, but like when I wanted to become a better speaker, I took a course. It was in LA. It was 2 days. And they recorded you. This was back still at VHS tapes, and you'd give your little talk. Nice. You gave a bunch of talks over the 2 days, and you go sit in a cubicle with a headset on and watch yourself. When I started the Sales Whisperer, I hired a coach, and he had me record my calls, and he'd break down my calls, and when I started learning golf, I didn't learn golf till I was 23. Yeah. And early on, I was in Jacksonville, Florida, I remember, because I was leaving for Korea. I went out to see my dad. So this is like August of 93. So back then, like getting filmed was a big deal. I took a lesson last year and I was like, where's all the recording stuff? Like, oh yeah, it was 2022. The guy just had a Samsung. They got these cool apps, man. So he filmed me from the front and from behind. He could draw lines like all on his phone. It was amazing. But this guy he had cameras from the top, from the front, and from behind. And dude, I took 5 swings of the golf club, and that was my lesson. That's awesome. Rest of the time, he was like John Madden, drawing angles and boxes and seeing how am I shifting laterally, how am I shifting vertically. I mean, amazing. But you want to get better, you record yourself. Yeah. Right. And if you can't record yourself, then you have a trusted coach. Exactly. Every single day in jiu-jitsu, I ask one of the higher belts, hey, this, that, and the other. And it's always a simple fix. But it's something like I never would have thought of. Yeah. Yeah. Right. But to an experienced person, 12 years, in a couple of guys, 12, 14 years they've trained. My professor, like 35 years. And it's just, a piece of cake. It's an easy fix for an expert. Exactly, dude. All of the best ideas that we've ever had and all of our worst ideas and ups and downs,
have literally combined to create our current day results.
Yeah.
So in other words, if we had the ability to solve our own problems, we would be levels ahead. And that's why it's like, you always want to seek those experts, man. You got to seek friends and mentors and experts that have, I love it too. It doesn't even just have to be somebody that's like 10 steps above you. Get that guy that's like 1 or 2 steps ahead that just went through that problem that you're dealing with today, and hear what he has to say or she has to say about that.
Yeah. Because like I don't feel super confident teaching a whole class to somebody despite 6 years of training. And I go a lot. I go 5 and 6 days a week, right? So I'm not some passive dude hopping in a class here and there.
Yeah.
But I can help any white belt or blue belt.
Heck yeah.
You know, I can answer their questions.
How much Advil do you have to eat a day?
Dude, I don't, fortunately.
Good for you, man. That means you got your diet dialed in.
My diet's pretty good, and I suffer silently. But it has gotten better. I tell people, man, all the time, when I started, so I started in January of 2017, and I had just gotten back from my Tampa Bay swim. And I'm like, I'm in good shape. I just swam 3.5 miles in the ocean, you know, but I was not in jiu-jitsu shape. Holy smokes, dude. I never hurt that bad in my life. And I hurt like that for about 2 months. It was, you know, I was 235 and just all grip and just grind like everybody does. You know, I was 46, almost 47 years old. And man, I always laugh. Like, I didn't tell my wife how bad I hurt. Dude, I hurt in places. Did you know that the back of your love handles are their own muscles, and those can individually and separately hurt? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I got 3 kids. I know about that.
My shoulders along my upper back, because, you know, we're on our back and we're shrimping, right? And we're bridging. Like, I never did those kind of movements.
Dude, you hurt in places that cause you to wonder if you should go to the doctor to see if you're going to live tomorrow.
Dude, I woke myself.
Do I have a condition?
I woke myself up in my sleep just rolling over in bed. I hurt so bad. And I'm like, oh no, I just signed up. I'm not quitting.
That's awesome.
It took months, but now, you know, I'm a lot more efficient, right? I can, and I purposely, I have a very passive rolling technique or style. You know, I go hard maybe once a session, because I to avoid that, right? If I went and just smashed full speed every day, every round, yeah, I'd be hooked on ibuprofen.
Oh, for sure.
So I let guys I let them get their grips. I start from very bad positions, work my way out of it. And so that's just kind of my style in general.
Yeah.
So I can have longevity, you know, because now I'm pushing 53.
Yeah, I'm looking to get my son started. There's a school right across from where we're at, a couple minutes away, and I think they start at age 5. So it's time for him to get in there. He's got a couple months before he can start, but we're ready to rock as soon as he does.
Nice. Just start grinding him now, man. Put him in some
triangles. That kid around.
Get him in side control.
Yep. I'll put him in weird positions.
Put that shoulder in his throat. Do some neon belly. Say, stop crying, boy.
Getting him ready. Yeah, and I always teach him, I'm like, Leo, there's always a way out of this position. Because at first he would freak out. He'd start crying. I can't get out. And I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Figure it out. And I wouldn't move, you know, not like shifting positions to like truly lock him in, but kind of a loose side control. And after he stops freaking out, he realizes, oh, he can just go under and like get out. So he's ready to rock, man. He told me the other day, he's like, I want to fight some kids. And I said, we're not going to fight kids. But you're going to roll,
train. We're going to spar
together. This isn't, you're not going to fight them.
Nice, man. All right. So where do we send people? Where do you want everybody to check you out?
So
Instagram?
Check out Instagram, man, at Duane Spires, and give me a follow. And I'm always updating that bio link for any crazy stuff that we're putting out there in the world. Yeah, for sure.
And if they fly to Tampa, they can drive your fancy car?
They can look at my fancy car. I'll let them drive I'll let him drive the Humvees though. Those are pretty fun.
Can I drive the big Scooby-Doo church van?
Dude, I don't have that anymore, but I might get one just to sell candy to kids.
You got to go find it and then put it in a museum, man. Put it in the
person
Duane Spires Museum.
So we sold our company back in 2017. They still have that van to my knowledge. I might have to go and offer to buy it back from them.
There
It's
you
got
go.
some history. It's a legacy.
Very
van.
nice. All right. Duane Spires from cold, chilly, nipply Florida, man. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
on the
bro.
show.
Look at that. Just right there. It's just getting out of control. I got to turn the heater up inside of this office space that we're in.
Show them the guns, show them the nipples. All right. That's how we're going to end.
You're the man.
Have a good one, man. Great catching up
Thanks,
with
bro.
you.